Here's what I know. If your dream is something that could help another person, if you have a gift or a talent or a skill that could help another person, then you must do this work. Welcome to Courageous Conversations with Lionheart Coaching Co. I'm your host, Mandy Woodard, and my goal with this podcast is to empower you to own your story and to live courageously in your relationships, with your goals, and any adventures you might go on, and especially in your healing and self-discovery journey. I want to show you what's possible through what I teach and share and through the stories of others. All right, my friend, let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 45. It is November 7th, 2023, and I'm excited to sit here and talk to you today. I'm excited because I want to talk about something that I have talked about on here before, but maybe in a different way. I think that it's really important, and it doesn't matter how many different ways we talk about it. It needs to be talked about regularly. Let me explain. I have this crazy belief that we should all be able to live a life that we love. We should be able to be ourselves and to do things that truly make us happy. So long, of course, that we're not hurting another person. But it doesn't happen like that. We don't live those lives that we want to live. And for a multitude of reasons. A lot of times we have childhood that have left us wounded, and those wounds create these core beliefs that you are not important, or that you are just going to be rejected if you put yourself out there. You think too much of yourself. You talk too much. You are too much. So we shrink. We shrink ourselves down, and we take those dreams of things we wanted to do and achieve, and we put them in a box. And then we take that box and we put it on a shelf in a closet in the far, far back parts of our mind. And then we go about living. We get jobs, we have families, we have duties and responsibilities. But the thing is that box is still there. That dream that you have is still deep inside of you. And it's just waiting to be opened back up. So what if we could clear the room and get back into that space, get into that closet and pull that box out and bring it down and open it up and let that dream live on the outside. Let that dream be known. Here's what I know. If your dream is something that could help another person, if you have a gift or a talent or a skill that could help another person, then you must do this work. You must make space to let that thing live. You must make space to make it a reality. So what's the first step? How do we do that? You can say, yeah, Mandy, you're right. I do have things that I wanted to accomplish in my life that I haven't because I've had this fear, or I haven't thought it was possible, or I don't feel like I am good enough to do that thing. Those are the common beliefs that we usually have that keep us held back. Then I want to share with you what you can do, because I believe I have the answer to that. I believe that I do know what it is that you can do to bring that out of you, to tap in and really find your gift, your purpose work, and let it live. Let it become your life. So you can keep on listening to today's episode, because I am going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the thing that I believe will change your life and allow you to shift into that space, to go after your dreams and do your purpose work. But I want to tell you this too, before I really dive in. I also am hosting a free 3-week workshop. It's starting November 16th. So classes will be November 16th, November 30th, and December 7th, all at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll meet live on Zoom. I have a Facebook group. People are already coming into there. I'm super excited about it. And the whole purpose that I'm doing this for free is I really just want to, one, give this information. I do. And two, I want feedback. I am really, really excited to jump into this world of online learning and sharing, online teaching. I've been learning online for years. I want to now teach. It's something I'm extremely passionate about. It's why I have the podcast, to be honest with you. I want there to be a resource that you can go to and get this information. And of course, I love the podcast. It's free, and I can sit here and ramble on and say things that I can't say in a timed video on Instagram. But I'm hosting this workshop, and I hope if you are feeling called, you will join me, because we're going to have a lot of fun over there, and I'm going to really dive into this topic and actually teach you what you can do to live that life. All right, so here it is. Here's what we're going to talk about. Energy. Yep, energy. If this is your first time listening, then you may not know that I am a Reiki practitioner, which is a form of energetic healing. And I am also a life coach, and I intertwine the two. And within that, I get this amazingly beautiful intuitive guidance for my clients. And I have had this ability now to see things differently. It's like the greatest skill we could ever have is to be able to shift our perspective, to be able to see things differently. But it's through the energy healing that I have even been able to step into this space, to even do this work. So let's talk about energy and how I understand it and what I believe to be true. And it's not just how I understand it, it's also what I know, because a lot of this is science. So science calls your energy field a biofield, and they have studied it. There has been a lot of research on it. There is a particular study, Harvard study, on the biofield and in regards to Reiki and what happens when you receive a Reiki healing. The biofield is more commonly known as your aura. And your aura extends about 6 to 8 feet out and all around you. And almost like a misty smoke is how you could imagine it. Obviously, it's not that, but that's what it looks like. It's you can't see it, but you also can't see sound waves. You know what I mean? Like, we think we need to see things, but you can't see sound waves unless you have a tool that measures it. You can't see your energetic field unless you have a tool that measures it. And there are tools. There are tools that measure it. And if you've ever seen the experiment where I've seen it multiple ways. There's two plants, and one plant you say loving words to, and one plant you say mean words to. And when the experiment is complete, you see that the one that got the love energy, the higher vibe energy, is thriving. And the one that got the hateful words or the low energy is not. It's either dead or dying, but it does not do as well as the other. There's also been the experiment of rice in 2 different jars. And one jar of rice, same thing, kind, loving energy. And in the other was sent negative energy. And the rice that sent negative energy turns brown while the other rice stays white. If that doesn't tell you something, if that doesn't tell you that this is something real and it's something that we need to pay attention to, our energetic field is something we absolutely need to pay attention to. How you feel when you walk into a space matters. How you feel when you make a decision matters, because just like that high vibe helps that plant to grow and the low vibe helps to kill it, that's the same thing that can happen to the cells in your own body, in your own physical body. So, really taking the time to dive in and understand this, maybe you can see why this is so important. And you can see why I'm so passionate about teaching it. It's not just my passion, though. I really believe it is my purpose to share with you how to hone in on this, how to go into restful states so that you can hear the intuitive information that's trying to come through. So I want to talk to you about two different things. One is Boyoki. Boyoki, as I learned through my Reiki classes, is stuck energy in the body. It's where you become stuck. And when you look at the Japanese definition of Boyoki, which it is a Japanese word, Reiki is a Japanese technique, so that's where it's all derived from. But if you look at the word, it means illness. And if you dive into the meaning of the word, it is a flexible word when you use it in the Japanese sense. But what I came up with the most was illness of the mind. So that's the technical term. But in Reiki, we talk about Boyoki as stuck energy. And when we have stuck energy, it starts in that biofield. And when we don't heal it or clear it, it will find its way to your physical body. And you will find that you have issues with certain organs. Maybe you have gut issues. Maybe you have knee pain. Maybe you have back pain, neck pain, hip pain. Hip pain is huge if you have an emotional wound that has not been cleared out. Knee pain is huge if you haven't forgiven yourself. So our body really can tell us what we need to know if we are willing to tap in and listen. And if we look at it in terms of energy and we listen to our bodies, we can find the story. And when we find the story, we then find the situation that we have become energetically tied to. And we have the ability to heal it and allow ourselves to truly move on from it. And sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes handling something many, many, many times before we can fully surrender it and release it. But until you have awareness around it, you can't release it. We have to first become aware, and then we take responsibility, and then we take action. I also want to be very clear that awareness does not equate to change. We can be aware that something is there. I can be aware that the pain in my hips is from a wound that I've had since childhood. But until I do something about it, it's probably going to stay. We have to be willing to take action on these things, and it's not always time to. We're not always ready for that. And I always want to honor that. I always want to honor where someone is in their journey and what they're actually ready to heal. And your body will know when it's time. So Boyoki happens when we get that stuck energy. And finding it is a journey. And really allowing ourselves to go into a space of stillness is what can help us in that process. So I talk about needing rest all the time. It's something that I think I have said on repeat for years. I had a memory pop up from 2012 where I was talking about needing to be able to take breaks for the sake of your mental health. I didn't know then what I know now, so I feel even greater about it now. So allowing your body to go into that still space will then allow you to have this spaciousness within you, becoming attuned to yourself. We talk about tuning in and listening to our body. But recently, I got this book. It's called Attuned, and it's by Thomas Howell. I think that's how you say his name. I'm really going to apologize if it's incorrect. But he talks about interdependence and the process of caring for others and also caring for self. And that you cannot truly care for others until you care for self. And in order to care for yourself, you have to become attuned. You have to tune this instrument. You have to check in and see, what are you feeling? What's your energy like? And once you do that, you're able to go out and then become attuned to someone else. And then you can sense what they need, and you can be available to it. If you are not available to yourself, though, you're not going to be available to someone else. So I'm actually going to go ahead and read you this little section from this book because I just think it's really important and it's too good not to share. Okay. When life is consistently busy and stressful, or when we are running from task to task, dealing with one objective or problem after the next, you can easily burn out. Your system overloads as your inner resources are depleted. Living life this way is unsustainable. Humans need time and space to relax, repair, regenerate the body and mind, to recharge the batteries, so to speak. Making time to reflect on your experiences and to decompress and restore your energies allows you to digest the content of your life so that when you return to it, you can be more effective, more present, more at peace. So it's through that stillness you can create that inner peace. I will say that I am a testament of that. I went and learned transcendental meditation in 2017. I had tried some other meditative practices prior to that. The allowing myself to just sit and watch a feather float in the wind. That's one that I learned. Or to put a sailboat in a creek and just visualize it flowing through the creek. I actually used that technique to get through my labor with my daughter in 2015, and it worked. It helped me stay focused on something other than the pain, and I got through her delivery without pain meds. I will say at some point, it was like feather boat, and I could not focus at all, but we made it. We made it through. But in 2017, I went and learned transcendental meditation. And the reason why I went and learned transcendental meditation is because I was absolutely desperate. I was desperate to not feel the way that I felt. And I was desperate for my family to have more peace within our home. It wasn't just me. It was my husband and my son as well. I think he had just turned 12 at the time. So we went a place that's like an hour and a half away, 3 or 4 days in a row to learn this technique. And we came home, and I'm the one that practiced it the most, of course. It did help my son greatly, but at some point he was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. And that's okay. We switched to Reiki instead. It started the path of, it really jolted me. How do I want to word this? Practicing that meditation really allowed me to have intentional time every single day to check in with myself and really allow the thoughts to roll. And through that, I would have ideas, intuitive guidance for my life, things of that nature. The power of meditation is so great. There's a reason why so many famous athletes, actors, CEOs, there's a reason why they meditate. I love telling the story of Phil Jackson, who coached the Lakers, and I also think he coached the Bulls. He had the entire team meditating every day. It was either before practice or after practice, I'm not sure, but he had everyone meditating. And it's because that inner spaciousness allowed for them to become their best self. It helped them to tune their instruments every day. Steve Jobs meditated for 15 years before Apple became a product. It's through meditation that this information can even flow to you. And maybe not during the meditation practice. I don't want to say that it's like only in meditation you'll get these ideas. But when you meditate and you create space, you are then available for more, including checking your energy, clearing your energy. We have to be able to clear the stuck energy. Okay, so I talked to you about boyoki. I want to talk to you about another Japanese word. It's called ikigai. Ikigai is your purpose. Ikigai is something that I've learned recently watching the Blue Zones on Netflix. I don't know if you've watched those yet or watched that series yet. It's amazing. I learned about the Blue Zones when I watched Zac Efron's series on Netflix. I don't remember what that one's called, but there are places in the world where there are several people living over 100. And the question of how does that happen? And how does it happen particularly in these places? And the first episode of the Blue Zones, they go to Japan and he talks to all these different people that are living and they're either close to 100 or they are over 100. And they talk about ikigai. It's your purpose. It's living out your purpose work. So I talked about that dream in the beginning and how we put that in a box and we push it to the side. That becomes an energetic weight. We have to bring it out. We have to bring it out so that we can live our purpose. We all have a purpose here. I really believe that. And it's different for everyone. Some people's purpose is to create beautiful things for other people to admire. It brings them so much joy, and it brings the person being able to see it so much joy. Some people's purpose is to sing beautiful songs and move people to tears. Sound frequency is healing. And there are people that is their purpose, is to have this beautiful sound frequency and heal in that way. Some people are writers. Some people are amazing at hair. Some people are amazing at teaching, and they have all the patience in the world for these kids, and they can walk into a classroom and really have kids leave feeling better than when they entered. That is a gift, and that is purpose work. What's your purpose work? That's what we want to find. And we find that through healing your energy and clearing your energy, clearing your boyoki. We must find the ikigai through clearing boyoki. And maybe not exactly. It's funny because I feel like when we clear boyoki, we then can find our ikigai. We have to allow ourselves to come home to ourselves. We have to go inward. We have to create that inner peace and that spaciousness so that we can receive, so that we can be open to hearing what our next steps should be. Because your intuition will tell you. You will get intuitive guidance right when you're supposed to. It may take time, but you will right when you're supposed to. The other thing with our energy is needing to evaluate. And we need to evaluate many different things. We need to evaluate the people we are around. We need to evaluate the way we're spending our time. We need to evaluate the food that we are putting into our bodies. And we need to evaluate how often we feel drained. And all of those reasons, I could assume that you would know why. Why should you evaluate the people you're around? Well, did you know that the author of Atomic Habits, when asked what's the most important habit, he said it's the people you surround yourself. The habit of who you surround yourself with, because you are the 5 closest people to you. And if every day you're talking to people who are in this negative mindset, they're constantly seeing things through the lens of life is happening to me, not for me, and everything is wrong and the sky is falling, then you're going to feel drained regularly. You're going to feel down. It's inevitable. It's hard to shield that. You can shield that because maybe you don't have a choice. Maybe this is someone you live with, or maybe it's someone you work with and they just are constantly going on these rants about everything that's wrong. Oh gosh, we need to put some boundaries in place if that's the case. And I'm happy to teach you how to do that. It's something that I really enjoy teaching because I think it's so important. But you got to evaluate that. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with dreamers and doers, or negative Nancys and everything is wrong? Evaluate the food that you're putting in your body. Are you fueling yourself, or are you creating this heaviness? And I don't mean literally. I mean heavy energy. Anytime I eat food that is truly not good for me, it might taste good in the moment, but later I'm not going to feel so good about it. I feel the energy of it. I feel heavy. But when I eat a delicious meal that I have prepared, that I knew where the meat came from and the vegetables were fresh. And I was able to spend time crafting this meal for my family. It was created with love. It was made with love. It was served with love. Do you hear how good that feels when I say that? So we want to evaluate. We want to evaluate our day to day and see where we are draining our energy, see where we are giving our power over, and where we need to clear it out. The other thing with that is, speaking of giving your power over, if you're around people that you can't speak your truth, if you are not able to say what you need to say, then you are blocking that throat chakra. And your throat chakra is tied to your manifesting, which is what will create your life that you live, your ability to create the life that you have. So if you want things in life, to speak them out, that's important. We must be able to speak out what we want, what we hope for. And if you're not able to do that, if you're not able to share and honor yourself, then you're going to create boyoki there. And maybe you'll find that you get colds a lot. Actually, this is true for me. This is something that I have experimented with since I first learned about my human design, which was a few years ago now. Well, I guess almost 4 years ago now. I am a splenic projector, so I make decisions from my spleen. It's my safety center. So like my well-being and what's good for me. And I get these little whispers, and I only hear it once. And if I ignore it, then I miss it. I'll miss the mark. And when I do, I will start to feel ill. I'll start to feel sick. So I'll start to say, ooh, I knew that wasn't the right decision. I got to go back and change some things here. I got to change my mind on some things here. But also my throat, if I don't speak my truth, I get laryngitis. And actually, if you've listened to the podcast for any length of time, you will have heard me have that. And sure, sometimes it's allergies. But why am I so susceptible to that? Because I was not speaking my truth where I really needed to speak my truth. And it was something that I had been keeping in for a very long time. A very long time. And I have found that since I finally faced it, I faced that thing that I don't so much want to share on the podcast yet anyway. It's still too fresh. And I hope to one day. When I finally faced that thing and shared my truth, now I've noticed that every year, especially this time of year, I will lose my voice. And I haven't. Is it a coincidence? Only time will tell. I guess we'll see. But I'm pretty optimistic. I'm pretty certain that it was me not speaking my truth and what that was then tied to. And now that I have, my throat has cleared. And now that I have, it's like, I don't know, there's no turning back now. It's out. It's now a thing on its own over there. But the energy is no longer stuck within me. Do you know what I'm saying here? I hope you're understanding what I'm saying here. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to your energy is the state of the world. Now, I'm not going to talk about anything specifics. That's not what this podcast is about. And we all know that there is a lot of stuff happening that is just not okay. And my point of that is we are all called to live our purpose and to be a light. We can't always be the light. Sometimes we're in the depths of the sea and we can't see the light anywhere. It's dark down there. And when we're in the depths of the sea and struggling to look up, that's when we can ask God for a sign. That's when we can ask divine to send us something. And the people who have come through that, who are now lights, they illuminate this path for you. It's truly what I believe is the path of a wounded healer. because I myself have been in the depths of that sea. I have been in the very bottom where it is nothing but darkness and there's no way out. And through that, and within my own journey, there have been little glimmers of light from one place or the other, whether it's a book that I picked up, a post that I saw, someone came into my life that was either a therapist or a life coach. It wasn't any one thing. It was a multitude of things. But I only saw those things because they were shining their light. So if you can't shine your light, open your heart, ask for the signs, and you will find someone that will illuminate a path for you. That's my prayer for you anyway. And as you start to swim to the surface, you then begin to light up yourself. And from there, the other people, the other souls that are in the depths of the sea will see that. They will see your light, and you will illuminate a path for them. This work is so important because we are all called to light the way for other people. We are called to be that light for ourselves and to light the way for someone else. And it's through that we raise the frequency of the earth, of the whole world. And the more people that can do that, more peace on earth there is. And I get it. That sounds like a wild dream to have. Like, yeah, it's a pipe dream. But I also see it. I see what happens when we live our truth. And we have higher frequencies. And when I'm in a high frequency state, someone comes into my office that's low, or maybe someone listens to a podcast or sees a post or whatever, the hope is that they leave my energy feeling better than they did. And I'm not the only one here doing this work. I'm not the only one that people have to turn to. I couldn't be. Are you kidding? But I have to be able to live in my truth, step into my power, clear my energy so that you can step into yours. We reach for the highest branch we can see. So if I can show you how high to reach, then you can show someone else how high to reach. My friend Asante said to me a very long time ago, each one teach one. And I've shared this quote many times on this podcast because that is the truth. We are all here to teach each other. And that comes through all different ways because we have all different purposes and all different gifts. And it's okay if you're not in a high vibe every single day, by the way. There are plenty of days where I need to hermit and rest, but I can't be there for people. It's not sustainable, remember? We have to rest. You have to rest. I have to rest. Because when we do, we can make space. And if you hear this and you think, wow, she's full of herself to think that she can do that for other people, then that is a trigger. That is a trigger for you. And you really have to reflect on that. And what is the belief? Because I don't just believe that I have the gifts and the skills that I have, and I'm the only one. I believe that we all have these abilities. If we do the work, if we lean in and heal, if we go inward and create space, then we can. We can all do that for other people. It's not just me. I'm just the one showing up. I'm not the only one showing up. I want you to show up. I want you to show up within your own home, within your life. I want you to be able to go to the store and leave this trail of beautiful light energy every aisle that you go up and down. It's felt. You know that. You know it's felt. because you've gotten close to someone and felt like, ooh, I don't like that. That didn't feel good. Or you've gotten close to someone and thought, wow, I really like their energy. They just make me feel so good when I'm around them. You felt that. You know it's true. That's your biofield sensing your environment and where you are. So listen to it. Listen to your bio-spiritual senses. And if you want to dive deeper into this, please join me in this free 3-week workshop that I'm hosting. I'll be hosting a longer one in January, and that one will be a paid program, but it's going to be so packed with all kinds of things. This 3-week one is my test run so that I can get my feet wet again. But really, I need to step into my power, just like I want you to step into your power. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode today. I would love to hear your takeaways from it. If you want to send me a message or an email, you're welcome to. You can message me on Instagram. My handle for coaching is @LionHeartCoachingCo. And my personal handle is @LifeWithMandy_. You can shoot me a message there. You can share the episode. You can tag me. I'd love to be able to reshare that. Or you can even send me an email if you have some thoughts or things you want to share. It's hello@LionHeartCoachingCo.com. If you want to join me in the 3-week program and become one of my beta babes, you can go to lionheartcoachingco.com/beta-babes. And I'll get an email over to you with the Zoom link and an invite to our Facebook group. And you can hop on all the excitement and high vibe and energy over there. I would really love to have you. I would love your feedback. I would love to hear what you're working through and how I might be able to help guide you in that. And that is it. That is all for today. So I will leave you with this. As always, you are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. Bye now.